Okay, so it's a good Erev Shabbos, everyone. I'm on my way home from work. Didn't go to the mikveh yet, but I won't have that much time from the mikveh to the house to make a video. Usually in the winter it was that was the whole thing was on the way home from the mikveh. Parshas Pinchas is a very interesting parsha. In the Zohar, there's a lot on Parshas Pinchas. Parshas Pinchas is considered very special in the Zohar. But additionally, in other places, other inyanim, Parshas Pinchas, something that I think I might have written almost 20 years ago. 18 years ago, something like that, if my memory serves me correctly. Maybe it wasn't that long. But there's a story of the Rebbe Zusha. Heilige Rebbe Zusha is Chusik and Lein that he one time put his hand into a fire, and when it, by virtue of reflex, jumped back. He said, Gashmi is their hand from Zisha. He said, how materialistic, how physical is this hand of Zusha that it can't bear to be burned. Why should, if we're spiritual beings, we're beings of fire. Our souls are fire, the fire of Torah, which is Torah is called a black fire on top of white fire. So why can't we just keep our hand in the fire? I know in Vizhnitz, the Vizhnitz Rebbes, they actually put their hand into the fire when they make Havdalah. Everybody else, they just look at the fire. Vizhnitz, I don't know what the source of this is. I know Tolzar Mitzchak Rebbe does it too. He's a Vizhnitz or Talmud. Put the hand mamish in the fire. You try that though, you're touching the flame, that doesn't really hurt, especially do it very quickly. Remember a few months ago, I was at a chasana and the Vizhnitz Rebbe pushed my hand away because I was by a candle, and it might have been that my bekisha could have caught on fire. So I don't know, was it the Vizhnitz Rebbe or was it the Rosh Yeshiva? I think it was Rav Ernster, if I remember correctly. I remember getting a ride with him once. Someone dropped me off, and the Manal from Yeshiva, Rabbi Shmulevich, he dropped me off. I was going to Borough Park. He dropped me off in Flatbush, and I saw, Hasidic Yidden, and I said maybe I could get a ride. I'm going to Borough Park, maybe I could get a ride, and it was Rav Menachem Ernster, Rosh Yeshiva from Vizhnitz, the son-in-law of the previous Vizhnitz Rebbe from the Neighborhood. And so anyway. He was surprised that his hand was so physical that he couldn't keep his hand in the fire. And obviously Rabbi Ernster wasn't driving, the Gaborim were driving, but we'll put that aside. So, this story is very strange, because we all know, anyone who's heard any stories of the Rebbe Zusha knows that he was an exceedingly humble man. So how could it be, right? How could it be that he was surprised that he would expect that his hand should not go back from the fire, that he should see himself as such a spiritual being, and that it should surprise him that he was still a physical being. What does that mean? What kind of story is that? I saw it in the Sefer Menorah Zahav, and I don't remember quite any explanation for it. But this is my take on it. Lefi ani estaiti, my humble opinion. So this week's Sedra, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was seeking out, that Yehoshua ben Nun, that Moses was seeking out, that Joshua, he was seeking out his successor, and God told him that Joshua should be his successor. Moses didn't name who he wanted to succeed him. The commentators say that deep in his heart he really wanted his own children to succeed him, and yet they didn't. And not only that, but in a certain sense, some of his progeny, it might seem, we're not going to say, but that unfortunate nature of him not being able to see his son be his successor. Because that's, of course, I think the dream of every rabbi is that his son should succeed him as a rabbi. And, you know, and in general, of course, in the Hasidic world, it's quite common. I remember I was telling one of my colleagues at work, the other Vishnitzer Rebbe from Muncie, the brother of the, you know, how when he was Nifter, all of, you know, now all of his sons have the title Vishnitzer Rebbe, all of his living sons and one grandson, and how they have the title Vishnitzer Rebbe, and this colleague of mine at work, he's an Orthodox Christian priest. He was so amazed. He said, wow, meaning all of his sons became rabbis? To us, it just seems, well, what else are they supposed to do, you know? You know, that's how they were raised, you know. But it doesn't always happen. We know that as well. You know, I know Rabbanim who have an Agmas Nefesh, especially if they don't pay enough attention to their children, spend enough time with them, and even if they do, when they have good relationships with their children maybe want to go on a different path than their own path. And especially when you're a Moshe Rabbeinu, when you have a commitment to the community, it can often be very difficult to give your children the proper attention. But that's a challenge with any job that we have. You know, I try my best to spend time with my children. It's very difficult. Work full time, basically work 7 days a week. How much time do I have to spend quality time with the kids? It's very difficult. And then, you know, in these years, they go by so quickly. And we hope and pray to God that they should go in the right way. And the example that I have from my rabbis, from Rabbi Weinberger, from others, is that, you know, to go out of your way to spend time with your children. But it's very difficult to find that time. Very difficult when you have so many obligations in life, and they grow up so quickly, and you know, before you know it, you know, your grandfather already. Although I still have time for that, but you know, it's amazing how fast time goes. And I know, you know, before I know it, most likely, God willing, if everything goes as planned, Bezos Hashem, which God plans, men plan and God laughs, and we don't know what's going to be, and we can only hope and pray. But if I go along the way of the Hasidic culture, there's less time from the time since I was married until now, until it's possible I could be a grandfather already. More than halfway there, in a sense. And time goes by so quickly. And we have to make the most of this time. It's very hard. But we do it, we go, we do what we can. And so Moshe Rabbeinu, he wanted his son, one of his sons, both of his sons, and it didn't happen. But his most faithful disciple, Joshua, for him it did. So we have Joshua. But what did Moses pray? He says, Hashem Elokei Ruchas L'chol Basar. Very interesting term. He said, O Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, find a shepherd who will guide in your flock, going in and going out. What's that all about? And I believe the answer came shortly after that he should take Joshua, the man who the Spirit is, and put from some of his glory upon Joshua. But then what comes after that, the Smichas of Parshas, is the Korban Tamid, the daily sacrifice. Every morning and every night, the daily sacrifice. We just mourn the ending of the daily sacrifice that took place in Shavuos B'Tammuz. But we still have the spirituality of the daily sacrifice in our liturgy. And the Shalom Farms V'Seinu, that the bulls will pay back for our lips, and that's the actual translation. We usually say that our lips will pay for the bulls, but really the bulls will pay for our lips. Samarov points out that really the deeper spirituality is our devotion through prayer and study. And the animal sacrifice is really only secondary to that. The main thing is the lip service that we offer that really gets down deep into our soul as well. And so forth, but we also recognize there's certain things that are more important. We don't have to be fanatical. We just have to be sincere and devoted. And we shouldn't be fanatical. We have to focus. What are we talking about here? spirits of all flesh. That's the answer, is that a leader has to be totally spiritual but also totally physical at the same time. It seems like a dichotomy, it seems like a contradiction, and yet we have to find that way to do that. It's often been said there's certain people who are so heavenly minded they're no earthly good. And that person like that cannot be in a leadership position, cannot be a spiritual leader, because he has no connection to this world. This is why our leaders have to be in relationships, have to be married, have children, because then we can relate to what's really going on in the world, you know? We can really give advice. If the person you're seeking advice from is a priest who's not married, doesn't have a family, how can he relate to your situation? But if you have a priest who is married and has a family, has children, that he can take from his own life experience. But of course, even priests who don't have children can still have spiritual children, and they're required to have disciples and enter into discipleship so that they can serve and be able to give something to their flock. But if you're totally spiritual, you can't be a leader. You can be a holy person, but you're no earthly good. And God has enough angels in heaven. Doesn't really need that many angels on earth. And he can send the angels to earth when they need to be here. And we know also what happened, according to Medrash, when the angels came to earth. Whether it's true or not historically, the lesson is there. You have to find balance, or else corruption can come very easily. Try to be an angel on earth doesn't really work that well. You have to be able to be normal. And if, as I mentioned, from a different religion, that's my mom. That if we are it was the Guru Nanak from the Sikh religion who said that if all the holy people are hermits up in the mountains, then what good are they? They're not helping the people. The holy people have to be in the city, have to be there and influence the people. The thing is, you have to go to the mountains a little bit too. You have to find that balance, and there are people in the mountains also. So, all this being said, let's answer our question. The Korban Tamid was a burnt offering. It was totally spiritual, but it was a sheep. It was totally physical. It was a ram, you know. Lamb. It was an animal. A prosta behema. And the answer is that's the balance. To balance the spiritual and the material. And then you could be a leader, like Moshe Rabbeinu, like Yehoshua ben Nun. And And that's the story of the Rebbe Zisha, that he was amazed. It was humble for him because everyone knows the Rebbe Zisha was a spiritual man. The amazing thing about the Rebbe Zisha was that he was able to be material and physical. That's what he was amazed by, is that he could be a leader. And that's why his hand jumped back, because he said he couldn't imagine that he could actually be a leader. That was his humility, because he knew who he was. He knew he was a spiritual man, but that's not a great accomplishment. The greater accomplishment is to be material and spiritual at the same time, and it's very difficult. And it's very easy to fall one way or the other, but we have to find a way to find the balance. And that's the message. That's really the whole message of Judaism. Not to be a fanatic, to be normal, to live in this world, it's not even so much to be in the world but not of the world, the way the Christians say. It's also, in a certain sense, to make this world a better place. L'sakein olam b'malchus shakai. Tikkun olam doesn't mean like the left-wing people say. That's not what it means. It means to make this world, though, a beautiful, beautiful place, and recognize the beauty that's inherent there. And to bring everything under the kingdom of God. And so that's the message. All right, God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and have a good Shabbos. Take care.